Hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. We're here for the 3-point preview for Manchester United against Club Brugge in the second leg of the round of 32 of the Europa League tie at Old Trafford.
Bit of a mouthful, that, wasn't it?
Too much. I've written that like 3 times for like the description and the tweet and stuff. It's too many words.
Yeah.
Can't they just have it? They just call it like a different thing instead.
What would you call it?
So if like the first leg for the round of 32, you just call it like miles off 1. And then the second leg, miles off 2. And then round of 16, bit closer 1, bit closer 2.
Bit closer.
Yeah. And then by the time we get to semi-finals, it's like nearly here 1.
Well, we'll just call it
nearly
semi-final.
Here 2.
That's less. Nearly here 1 is 3 words. Semi-finals 2.
Yeah, ridiculous though, isn't it? Round of 32, Europa League, second leg at Old Trafford. But yeah, obviously 1-1 in the first leg.
Yeah.
We saw that last week. We saw a relatively heavy rotated squad. Also, you're Adam, by the way, and I'm Joe, in case you didn't know. We saw a quite heavily rotated squad, didn't we? Some of that was down to injury, some of that was down to just manager's choice. But let's have a look at sort of team news and potential injuries and stuff this week.
Right, so for United, Pogba's out, obviously. Rashford's still out, obviously. Grant's out. Tuanzebe and Fosu-Mensah are doubtful. They have returned to full training, but Solskjaer said on those two that they are getting close to either a reserve match or a behind-closed-door match. They just need him to play in that type of game before they can make a first-team appearance. He also said as well, Solskjaer, that there was a couple of knocks in training, but hopefully they should be okay. Strong fit, 25-man squad. It was a good session as well. We're looking stronger. I mean, for the first time in a long time, Joe, this is where we can actually start seeing, you know, our best starting 11 on paper going out on the field, maybe.
I know. And, yeah, like you said, it's other than Pogba and Rashford, who I think, you know, would both make it into the team still, we're actually getting towards... Especially with the inclusion of Bruno Fernandes now as well, it does feel as though that like Pogba, the whole thing of him not being there, I care less about it now than I did.
Yeah.
It doesn't fill me with quite as much sort of, 1, dread that he's not playing, and 2, that kind of yearning for him to be back. I don't feel that as much anymore. I feel as though we can create things from the midfield again, which I didn't think we could unless Pogba was playing. And whilst we've missed Rashford, I don't know. I just think it would be great to have him back, but he doesn't. It's nice that he's been out not playing. He hasn't had nearly the controversy of Pogba, has he? It's just a different thing with Pogba, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, Rashford's not been here. There's no chance of him leaving. We all like him. It's just been like people haven't even really spoken about him that much.
Yeah, I feel like people are bored of Pogba.
They are, but they still talk about him all the time. I know we are, but we're just sort of addressing the scene of the.
Like, I'm bored of Pogba. I mean,
than that.
Pogba, when he first came to United and he got injured, was like, oh, God, who do you replace him with? Because you had Fellaini, Herrera, Carrick, which, you know, aren't replacements for Pogba because they don't have that vision that he does. Cut to now, and we've been missing Pogba's creativity, not his attitude, one bit. And then you bring Bruno Fernandes in, and Fernandes... Within, 4 games he's been at Old Trafford. I think he's had man of the match in every single game.
And I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes that we were all like, oh, he seems really good. And then Solskjaer coming out and saying, he's a leader and he's all this sort of stuff. We'll talk about him in a minute. But, yeah, you don't quite have that same fear now, do you?
Yeah, I mean, Fernandes is just... He's really at the ground running. I mean, I don't read much into the man of the match polls because they are voted by fans and it's sort of that excitement of, oh, my God, he's new and that giddy sort of thing, but he does look levels above everyone else to the point where it's like it's like a men against a bunch of boys, basically. It's just that extra level of class that we've missed for a long time. That void that Lingard and Pereira have sort of been in between. I mean, United, there's reports today as well that United look like they're likely to sell Lingard and Pereira at the end of this season. I mean, is that a direct sort of knock-on effect from the fact that Fernandes has come in, done that well, that United are going, right, we've got him, he's our number 1 now we need to replace these two because these are just not good enough as backups because they didn't prove that when Pogba got injured.
And they've had so many chances as well, especially like Lingard. The thing with Lingard is we have seen him have spells where he's been good. He's got assists, he's got goals, he's got important goals for United. You can't deny that. Obviously, his form in the last, it is like 18 months now, it's a long time, has been poor. But it isn't as though we've never seen him play well. Pereira, we've never really seen him play well. He's never had a sustained spell of games like Lingard did when Solskjaer first came in and like he did under Mourinho, where you think, oh, you know what? He could do this, or he can score those goals, or he can bring the ball out and create things. I think Pereira has to be the one on the chopping block of the two of them. But because I do worry about selling them both. I think why would what evidence do we have that we will replace those players? We've got rid of Fellaini and Herrera and replaced it with Fernandes. If we get rid of Lingard and Pereira, are we going to replace that with one person? Are we not going to replace it? Or do you know what I mean? I worry about getting rid of too many players, maybe. But I think in terms of them playing, there's clearly a sign, and it's not even a sign. Solskjaer just came out and said they're not good enough, basically, didn't he? They're not playing well enough. You have to improve your game if you want to play. So I don't think there's any secret there that they may well be on the way out, at least one of them.
Yeah, and he said as well about Fernandes, he was waxing lyrical over him about like how good he actually is, going into like real detail like that. And he said Fernandes' imagination and his overview picture is a couple of seconds ahead of many players. Is one of his strengths that he knows that he wants to do. He can change his mind in a split second. That composure has been important. And that is, again, that's the hallmark of a top player, having that know-how that in a split-second decision, you've got to make the right decision every time, or you could lose the game, or you could get hounded on by fans. And it's just that cutting edge that Lingard and Pereira just don't have.
Yeah,
I feel like as well with Pereira, what is his position? Because it was always like, I'm a number 10, and then he played him in number 10 and he did awful there. It's like, no, I'm more of a number 8. He went to number 8. No, I'm not really there. I need to be a 6. And then he tried the wings. He's the classic jack of all trades, master of none, in that he'll always be an average footballer until you know his actual position, and then you can have a bit of consistency there. But I can't see it, because Solskjaer's making these players play with freedom. I mean, Shaw came out in the interview as well and was talking about how I remember that. I think he had smiles on faces again, which we hadn't heard in a long time. And he said as well, Solskjaer even said on his own players' confidence, he said, you can blossom with more confidence, and speaking to the manager, getting them free, you just want them to be free, play with courage, bravery, have that bit of fear in you. It's a fine balance between arrogance, confidence, and humbleness. So Solskjaer's sort of getting there, and I feel like he was just really frustrated. What?
Do you know you said smiles on faces? Is it Shooting Stars, where George Jones is going hands and faces?
Yeah.
Hands and faces. That was in my head, sorry. Hands and faces.
Oh, no.
So we've got hands and faces for the first time. Sorry, go back to that. I couldn't get it out of my head.
No, that was it. That was the point.
You can blossom more with confidence. The players play with confidence.
Yeah.
I think they definitely, certain players, I thought the Martial goal, I was really impressed with the way they brought the ball out from the back against Watford. It was Shaw to James back to Shaw to Bruno to Martial. And they just played the ball round the corner a little bit, 1-2, pass and move, bring the ball out quickly. And there's a couple of times, like, do you know when you watch... We've talked about it loads because we've had to talk about Haaland so much because he was linked with United and because he's done so well. We've talked so much about how he's made most of his goals from either single touch shots or where the loads of players running through on goal, and you think that never happens in the league, in the Premier League, and it certainly happens less. But it did happen a little bit. The ball through to Martial, he was running straight one-on-one with the goalkeeper because we played the ball out quickly. We moved the ball through the thirds quickly. It also kind of happened with Greenwood. That was the first time. It was the second time shot. He took a touch, didn't he, and then hit it. And also the chance where Fernandes was going through on goal and got brought down for the penalty. Yeah. It was a ball into the box where he's running through on goal all of a sudden, rather than Watford are a team that for a lot of the game sat back. But we did at certain times play the ball much more quickly, like the likes of Pereira and Lingard don't do. Fernandes plays the ball into those gaps immediately and gets the ball out of his feet and plays it at a much faster rate than any of the rest of our players, to the point where they are running through on goal more. And it was just good to see that kind of our chances look a bit different as well. It's not like we're in the same position as always, but he can find that perfect ball. We did see that with his ball to Maguire for the header, but he actually allows us to create different chances because we bring the ball out right from the start of a chance a different way when he's playing. And I think the fact that not only are we creating more chances, but we are creating different chances, I think is a huge thing going forward. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at our key men for the game, because I think for this one it's Martial again. I think we're going to see a strong squad, and for me, my key man is going to be Anthony Martial. I think he scored in his last 3 games. He's been kind of a bit shaky, not shaky, but he hasn't been brilliant, I wouldn't say. But he seems to have developed this rapport with Bruno Fernandes as well, where they sort of comment on each other's Instagram posts and they're like, "Oh, give me a better pass next time," and he's giving it all the eye emojis, all the stuff you like to see. I think he's going to be the key if we want to get a couple of goals in this game. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think it's easy to say Fernandes is probably going to be a man of the match performance again if he does start, because he's sort of shown that. But I think that in terms of actually getting you the win, Martial's form as of recent is that of a goal scorer. I mean, he might not be playing fantastic for 89 minutes, but for that 1 minute he does have the ball, he seems to score a goal with it. And that's all you need to ask of a striker, is that when you get chances presented to you, you've got to convert a few of them away. And you just got to be like that. I mean, the first leg was a total striker's goal in that he had that instinct to chase the ball down. And the two touches were just brilliant.
Those 2 goals he scored that week, the Chelsea one, I honestly think might be my favourite goal we've scored this season, because I just think it was such a goal we haven't been scoring. The fullback doing well attacking-wise, ball in the box, and a really good run to the near post and a difficult header to beat his man. And then, like I said, he created the goal himself. Really good energy, work rate, and aggression to get the second one. But I just thought those 2 goals were 2 of the best goals I've seen him score, because it was different and it was something we're not used to seeing from him. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and like Ollie said, it's hard to convert someone back to being a striker who, for so long in his development as a player, was playing on the wide positions. And I get that he sort of was playing as a striker at Monaco and early at United, but the fact of the matter is that, and he's sort of like mid-20s, early 20s, he was always on that wing. And, you know, it is a bit of a shock to the system. You wouldn't expect to see Ryan Giggs playing centre-forward for you and then going, yeah, you got to bang 40 goals in now, and same on the wing. So it is a learning curve, but he couldn't have anyone better to do it with. A manager who not only was a striker, but also used to play on the wing, is in that when sort of Beckham was going time of year, Solskjaer used to play on the right-hand side. So it's like the same with Greenwood. Greenwood's the same argument, but while we're speaking about Martial, it's one of them where you go, you just need a bit of time and confidence. Ollie's giving him the time and the confidence at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's actually repaying it to some extent. I mean, I used to dig into Martial all the time in that he would give an awful performance and that he would look sluggish, he won't make too many runs. But for now, the times that he does make those runs, the time that he does get that ball, Fernandes seems to find him quite often as well. There seems to be a lot of chances being converted, and that's all you can ask for Martial, and that's why I totally agree that Martial probably is your one to watch for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think for a striker, as their career goes on, something that you have to be able to do, and we've just seen it from Rashford this season, where I didn't think he had it before this, is he scored 3 games in a row now. Earlier on in his career, you'd think, well, he scored 3, probably won't score this game. Whereas Lukaku, Ibrahimovic, people like even like Vardy, you know, strikers like that, you think they've scored 3 in a row, they'll probably score tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like strikers who can score 6, 7, 8 games in a row. I think that would be the next thing we can see from him. It doesn't have to be, you know, because he hits hot streaks where he'll get 2 goals and he won't score, and then he'll get 2 goals and he'll have scored, you know, 8 goals in his last 5 games, but he's only actually scored in 3 games. Or do you know what I mean? Whereas with Lukaku and like I said, Ibrahimovic, Vardy, those kind of strikers, Van Nistelrooy was perfect for it.
Oh, God, yeah.
He would just score every single game, and the last goal didn't make the next goal less likely. It made it more likely. Whereas with Martial, I sort of think he thinks, oh, I've scored quite a few, I'll be all right for a bit. But this, like I said, 3 in a row, not great performances necessarily in those games outside of the goals. But if he can make it 4 in a row, 5 in a row, 6 in a row, I think that would be a great step, as you said, moving back from the wing to a striker role. Just because 1 goal, you know, I just think sometimes 1 goal is more important than a game where we win 4-0. If you know he's going to get a goal, that's probably going to set us up for more wins than him chipping in and joining in when we're already battering a team.
Yeah.
I think, him getting those important goals like we've seen Rashford do this season against the big teams, that's the next step for me, and I think this would be a great game for him to carry on that good form. Shall we have a look at the team we've selected then? Came up with a predicted 11. Someone asked before, what's the third point of this 3-point preview? The third point is this, the team. Predicted 11 then. I've gone with what I think is an unchanged side from the weekend, because I think we can't afford to play anything other than our best team here. Yeah. I think let's go through the team. So we've got De Gea, we've got Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. Then we've got a midfield of Matic, Fred and Bruno. And then we've got Dan James on the left, Mason Greenwood on the right and Martial up front. I just think this it says in the title there, I think this may be Solskjaer's biggest game to date at United. I think last season, obviously, the PSG game was a big game afterwards. But leading up to it, if he'd have lost that tie, that wouldn't have cost him his job. And, you know, I think, obviously, I don't think it'll cost him his job directly if we lose this. But going out at home to Bruges could be the beginning of the end. It's one of those ties where you think, well, we should win this easy. But when you don't, all the goodwill that we've sort of built up over the last couple of weeks will just be decimated immediately. And I think he needs to put out a full strength squad. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think consistency is key here, and with the team that has been playing as of recent deserves the chance to sort of have a bit of bonding time in terms of knowing where players are going to be on the pitch and passing lanes and just rhythm of play. I mean, the best teams in the world and the teams that always end up winning titles are always the ones that you can predict always.
Yeah,
every
at least
week.
7 or 8 of the 11.
Yeah. And even in midweek European games, you're looking at 1 or 2 players coming out. And I feel that total change like we've seen at Brugge away in terms of system and personnel isn't the way to go. I think if we stick to one system, nail that down and go, right, you're my best starting 11. You won games back to back. I mean, this has probably been the first time in a while that we've actually won back-to-back Premier League matches for a while.
But it's only the 3rd time we've done that under Solskjaer.
Yeah. That's mad.
That is absolutely mad, yeah.
Because you won't think of it like that because you got games in between, so you might win 2 and you think, oh, they're the back-to-back. And it's like, no, domestically we've not done that. But anyway, I think consistency is key. And I just think that with a team that, I mean, it is Watford. We will admit it is 19th place Watford, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that's a team who went out and scored 3 goals and they're all buzzing after the game. Why would you cull the confidence of certain players and go, yeah, we're gonna put Lingard in because
just to rotate.
Yeah, to rotate. I don't get the word rotate. No. These are professional athletes that should be able to be fit enough, especially when they're not travelling. Yeah. They're at home. They've played 2 home games on the bounce. If this starting 11 right here doesn't start, I don't know. I think I'd be a bit, be confident if 1 or 2 was rotating out. You could
maybe see Eric Bailly for Lindelof like we saw against Chelsea. You could maybe see McTominay making his first start. I wouldn't even be too shocked if we saw, Romero playing it in goal. But I think I think we have to see Bruno Fernandes. We have to see Martial. Yeah. I think we have to see at least one of James and Greenwood.
I think Greenwood picks himself.
It has to be Maguire, Shaw, and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, and the defence as well. I mean, there's a stat coming out recently that I think we've got the
Brandon
second.
Williams. That's another one you could see changing. Sorry.
Well, I kind of would say Williams, but with the form of Shaw as of recent, I kind of want to see him crack on a little bit more in that position. And just take it, because he seems to be a confidence player and he's got a bit of that. And he did the press conference with Solskjaer, and he was talking all about how recently Williams' competition has pushed him to be at that level above what he was before.
He's not been Maldini for the last month, but he's definitely been better than he was the month before this one.
Yeah,
and obviously, again, we see Solskjaer trust Luke Shaw and play him a lot, and again he's shown his versatility a little bit. I don't think he's the best centre back. I don't think he's the best left back. But like you said, I think Luke Shaw, even with his body type and all that sort of stuff, do you know that Wayne Rooney style where it's like, don't rest him, just play him, because if he's off the bench, if he's on the bench, Stephen House in the comments saying boo. If he's on the bench, I think he's a confidence guy, and I think he's one of those players that just get him more fit, get him in the team, get him playing. And I think if you want the best out of him, that's the way to do it. Someone in the comments here saying, don't you think Sunday against Everton is more important? I think if we lose to Everton, there will be less of a backlash than if we lose this game. If we go out of Europe to Club Brugge, that's a real shocking and indefensible result. Where especially their captain's injured, their best player is injured as well by the looks of things.
Yeah.
And if you lose to Everton, they've had a bit of an upturn in form since Ancelotti came in. Obviously, it would be terrible for our top 4 chances, but you can kind of see where that loss might come from. There's no excuse to lose this game, and I think Solskjaer, can't risk dropping anyone. And I think, like I said, this team's bonding together. Why get rid of that now?
Yeah, someone just made a good point though and said we need this side for Everton. I'd rather a weaker side for Brugge. Yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying, and that's where I want to factor in that whole just not full rotation, just maybe 2 or 3 out and in, because I feel like the main spine of the team should probably just be there. I mean, Maguire, Fred, Bruno, Martial should probably all play, and De Gea.
Both
and
games.
Then it's sort of who's on the wings and who's at the fullback positions that you might just want to sort of, I don't know, maybe move about a little bit. I think, like you said, Greenwood picks himself. I think he's fit enough to play week in, week out in terms of even just midweek games. James, he got the rest that he desperately needed, so he's going to be fit.
And I thought he looked good against Watford as well. Yeah. I know he didn't get a goal, but I thought he played well against Watford. I think he was a slightly underrated performance against them. Shall we have a look a bit at Bruges then? Because we've picked our team for United, but obviously we've got an opinion. So what you got?
So with Bruges, they've won 4 in their last 6 in all competitions. That includes 2 draws right there, and that's one against us as well. They're 9 points ahead of second position in their league, Ghent, so they're not really looking to focus on the league. They can afford to maybe field a full squad against United. Their Club Brugge manager said, I want my players to show courage and guts in Manchester. It's important for the guys to have that experience, and then we will see. We still need the same luck there as there was in the first leg. So he's even admitting that they won that game through luck, which I don't know. I just think that we were poor and that they really capitalised on it and just failed to convert a lot of chances because their goal was, it is what it is. Romero shouldn't have been there, but that's a very rare Romero mistake.
Yeah, but it was a mistake.
But they had a lot of chances, is what I'm saying, in the first 10 to 20 minutes. And I think Solskjaer admitted that was an issue that, luckily wasn't that much of a problem in the end because even though we did draw, yes, it was 1-1. An away goal in a European tie coming into the second leg with that on your back, there's teams that are in a lot of worse positions than that, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they looked all right, didn't they, Bruges? I think they didn't particularly do anything. Whilst they, like I said, they made chances, they didn't give too much away at the other end. They didn't really do anything that I thought, oh, you know what, I didn't expect. They didn't surprise me particularly. They didn't shock me. They didn't make me turn my head and say, these have got something about them where I'm worried here.
Yeah.
Obviously, a 1-1 draw isn't a great result. I think it's a decent result, and United didn't play very well. But I hope that, again, we don't see anything from them that is... I don't think we will see anything from them that is particularly outstanding. I think if they win, it'll be scrappy goals like we saw with it. Most of their chances were quite scrappy, and I think it'll be set pieces as has been our weakness all season.
Well, as you were saying then, I mean, history is on our side if we're being lucky here because for Bruges, who are now unbeaten in 14 matches since Christmas, they've never won an away European match in England.
Yeah, and they, other than draws over 2-2 and above, they have to get a win.
Yeah, they said that run includes 2 draws and 10 defeats in England. Most recently, a 2-1 loss to Leicester in the Champions League match 3 seasons ago.
They win Leicester in the Champions League. That was pretty good, wasn't it? We'll probably see that next season.
That was a laugh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a laugh when they played Atletico Madrid.
Nasri got sent off, I think, one of the games when they played Seville. I can't remember. I don't know. Making that one up probably.
Yeah, people saying De Gea will not start. Yeah, I could see Romero playing in this one. I just wanted to sort of reiterate how important this game is. I really do think it's a huge match.
I think as well in terms of the starting 11, I mean, there's a few comments there saying that, they're missing 3 key players, like we just said. Balance's gone, Dennis, the goal scorer in the first leg, he's gone, and Ruud Vormer's gone. So they've got 3 key players missing, and I think I read somewhere that they might want to change the system from 3-5-2 to a 5-3-2, which is total damage limitation. Yeah. But I feel that if you send your strongest 11 out, get the job done in the first half, then you can take them all off, send them for an early bath, and then go, right, you're playing against Everton on Sunday, well done, right, see you in a bit.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. If we're 2-0 up after 40 minutes, you can the game will slow down, we'll take the sting out of the game a bit, and like I said, 65, 75 minutes, start bringing people off. I'd rather do it that way around than having to bring Fernandes on, having to bring Martial on, having to bring Fred on because it's 1-1 after 70 minutes. Yeah. I don't want that.
Plus, as well, it seems like they're going to sit deep. And the one issue that I've had with United all season is that we can't beat teams in low blocks. We find it stupidly tough to do so. And then you get someone like Bruno Fernandes who acts like a key to every lock known to any low block defence ever. He needs to start because not only is he a danger from shooting from outside the box, the through balls that he can provide. This is why what I want about you need a full strength side to play.
Yeah. There's maybe some problems with my mic. It looks like it's all right to me on that. I think it should be fine now. Is the mic all right now? It says it's off, but we can see a bar on there going up when I speak. Anyway, if not, we'll turn this one slightly and you might be able to pick it up on either. There's no people in here saying best team for Sunday, save bums in for Europa. No. I don't know. Can we share a mic? Does that mic work? Or is it both mics? Because they both look like they're all right on there. Is that one working? I just don't think it's worth the risk. We've seen it. Your mic is off. Are they both off? Is there no sound at all? Mine's fine. This one's fine. Right. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll put the mics together and talking to them both.
There you go, fixed.
I don't see why risk it. We've seen what happens when you play a weaker strength side in Europe. We drew. Why would we want to risk it? I don't understand that. I just don't think it's worth the risk.
When it's a massive way of getting into Europe as well, because...
Adam's using his make sure it projects voice.
Yeah, that's my voice. No, I can't say it the same now. I'll start low, then build up. Yeah. When we're in Europe and we're sort of in the European second division, so to speak, where you can win it and then get in the Champions League after it. I feel like it's a pretty important route to get in there because we've shown it before that in 2016 you win this trophy, you get in the Champions League. I remember I went to Arsenal away that when the Europa League sort of semi-finals were going on, and Jose just thrown out absolute nobodies in terms of like you would not have expected that to be the starting 11. And I think everyone there was like, look, we know we're not going for the win at all whatsoever. We're protecting ourselves for the Europa League match at the weekend and the midweek. So I feel like if you do somewhat look at this and go, this is one avenue into the Champions League, and maybe this is the sort of time now where if you get through this is when the club need to make a decision and go, what eggs do we put our basket in now? Are we going for top 4, maybe top 5 if the whole FFP City thing happens? I don't know. Yeah. Or are we going to go purely down the cup route, which admittedly now is a hell of a lot harder because the teams in there are a lot tougher than they were back in 2016.
That's true. But also, I think the teams in around the top 4 spot, there are a lot more teams that can take that off us now than usual. Usually, there's 5 or 6 teams, and gone again. Usually, there's 5 or 6 teams, and you know who they're going to be before the season starts, and there are no upsets. Now, there is Leicester, who have dropped a few points recently. Vardy stopped scoring, who may drop down into that top 4 battle. Probably not. They're probably safe. But there's Chelsea, there's United, there's Tottenham, there's maybe Arsenal if they turn things around, there's Everton, and there's Watford, who are all fighting for one spot, basically. And I think that this is almost a safer bet. Like we'll have to beat these. We'll probably have to beat maybe one of the big Milan teams at some point, or Inter. I think who are through. But other than that, hopefully I think this may be an easy way in. Anyway, should we wrap it up there? Obviously these mics are failing. We don't know what's going on. I'm back now. Look, we're not quite sure what's going on, but we're going to be back, of course. For a watch along tomorrow for the game, so be sure to tune in for that. We'll have team news as well before the game. We'll have our review afterwards. Are you going to the game tomorrow?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. I'm working. Yeah.
Where are you working at?
I'm working.
Don't say, because people might come in.
A lovely little pub.
Actually, no. you could do with a few people coming in. So where is it?
Yeah, true.
The Fitzroy Social Club in Droylsden.
Come down. 50p off. There's 50p off each draft drink going on till the 31st of March.
Wow. And they're only 58p to start with.
Exactly.
So that's a great price.
We have to pay you to drink the beer. Yeah,
exactly. Right, thank you very much for joining us at home. Get your score predictions in the comments as well so we can read some of them out tomorrow. Let us know what you think the score is going to be. Thanks very much for joining me, Adam.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much for joining us at home, even through what can only be described as terrible microphones. And we'll see you tomorrow.